What's going on, everybody? It's John here. Welcome to the YouTube channel. I talk about investing, I talk about generating income online, and I talk about credit. So basically, here we got an investor. I got an investing video today. What I've done is I found a pretty good clip about Disney, right? And how Disney, I actually pretty much I got a little aggressive at trimming my Disney back in pretty much in 2020 because I was kind of basically, rightfully so at the time, certainly from, let's say, March until the summer, I was really looking to trim some of the positions where there was just too much exposure to the real physical world because of the pandemic, of course. But Disney is really one of those great places where you have basically both a growth, you have growth, technology, and then you also have, reopening. So, it seems like a great place. So what I want to do is I want to go in, and I've actually been watching this woman. I'm gonna introduce you to her here in a second. Have some really good things to say. Recently, I heard her have some really good things to say about Peloton, and I have been following some of the things that she says recently. But we're going to go in and talk about Disney and see what they have to say and see how it stacks up against Netflix. One of my long-time great investments. Here I'm at about a 70x return on my initial Netflix purchases. Got into Netflix back in 2011 and 2012 at the time that they had a $3 billion market cap, and at that time they had $3 billion in sales. Anyway, so let's see how they stack up, how Netflix stacks up against Disney, and when they talk about Disney right here.
Joining us now with her thoughts on all of this is Tiffany McGee, CEO and Chief Investment Officer at Pivotal Advisors.
Pivotal Advisors.
What do you make of that?
Yeah, I totally agree. So Disney was actually one of my picks. I actually took that survey. So just want to kind of take you guys back to pre-pandemic. So Disney, roughly 30% of their revenue was coming from parks. And so this is one of these stocks that is a staple for me. I've owned for a very long time. And they were really able to quickly pivot, release titles like Mulan, direct to consumer, really kind of stand on their streaming business. But now that the world is reopening, especially this year when more people are going to be getting the vaccine and parks are really going to get a boost, I'm really looking for great things from Disney. So I'm super excited. And I agree with what most people said. So I'm glad that I was validated.
Let's talk just a little bit about this study and some of these reopening stocks. 50% of our survey respondents said they'd rather buy Hilton worldwide than Airbnb or Live Nation.
No way.
What do you make of that?
Me.
Yeah. So I totally disagree. So here's my theory on Airbnb. And my pick was Airbnb, which I would take any day. But Hilton is a little bit tempting and Live Nation is a little bit tempting. But for me, so just look at some of these numbers, right? So I think like Joe earlier said that 97%, actually, yeah, another survey was saying that people were planning to take a trip in the next 12 months. I think that we need to really pay attention to the fact that we have this work from anywhere kind of situation right now, and that things have definitely changed. Also, leisure travel is really kind of boosting the recovery right now. If Airbnb were a hotel chain, it would be bigger than the top 5 hotel brands in the world combined. And I think that, with all of these, opportunities to work from home or really work from anywhere, the people are going to take advantage of that. And if you don't believe me, try to go book an Airbnb right now out for the next 2 months. I tried to do it actually last night, and it was super hard to do, but I can get a hotel room anywhere in like 5 seconds.
Okay, let's try financials. So this was the result from the survey. 48% of our respondents said they'd rather buy JP Morgan than Goldman Sachs or PayPal, and none of the respondents said they'd buy Square. Where are you at?
Yeah, so for me, it's a toss-up between JP Morgan and Goldman. I went with JP Morgan. Those two are actually like staples in my portfolio. Again, taking us back to the beginning of this kind of global economic shutdown, JP was able, and to some extent Goldman, but JP was able to really do well in that first quarter when a lot of other regional banks were really struggling. and really kind of throughout the pandemic with their diversified revenue streams. I really like it. Solid company, solid management. Love Jamie Dimon. And from an ESG perspective, you guys were talking earlier about like major corporations kind of weighing in and really kind of weighing in on what's going on in Georgia, and really kind of being activists. That's an ESG vertical. JP Morgan has been with their Advancing Black Pathways has been very, very aggressive in terms of diversity, in terms of like hiring, in terms of lending, all of these things they've been working on for, I guess, probably like over like the past 3 years, not just in the past year.
So I didn't actually know that clip was coming up for Airbnb, but yeah, I actually did a video on the Airbnb recent earnings release back in early February, and I'll put you can see the video up there. I'll put it in the information tab so you can go check out it if you want to. They crush numbers, and I think that with Airbnb, yeah, I mean Airbnb is definitely my favorite pick for this year. My only concern is they've gotten really big really quickly. I did take some pretty small positions, but I just got a little nervous because it's been a pretty rough run since the middle of February, and Airbnb is already now over $100 billion market cap. But basically, I've said in some of my videos, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's possible that Airbnb could one day become the biggest company in the world. And I say that because what they have going for them, number one, they've got 4 million hosts, on their platform, right? And if you think about the world's population, that can just grow so much. I mean, there is so much more room for more than just 4 million hosts on Airbnb. Number two, they're in 220 countries already, and they're already doing over $4 billion, a year in revenue. And then on top of that, if you take a look at Airbnb and their gross profits are just off the charts. It's like, right before they went public, I looked at their private company information, and it was like 82% gross margins. You don't really see gross margins like that except for in companies like Facebook, who obviously they own their own platform and they do all their advertising, so they're in a very unique position to have such high gross profits. Same thing with Airbnb. They don't own any of the inventory. They're, effectively this of course, from a hospitality and lodging perspective, the world's biggest booking platform, right? And they're pretty much booking everything out there. And what's going to happen is as if the world becomes, there's more and more, we rid the world of poverty more and more. One of the first things people are going to do is try to stay somewhere nice for a night or two or a week or two, or keep increasing the amount of nights that they actually stay in a nice place. And it's really going to be amazing the amount of growth that Airbnb can have all over the world. So I do think that it's possible. I'm not going to bet on it or anything like that, but it's possible that Airbnb could become one of the biggest companies, or not, if not the biggest company in the world. But this is about Disney. So she talked about Disney, and it was pretty inspiring to see what she said about Disney. If you take a look at the two market caps, I'm fairly certain that Disney is way bigger than Netflix, but yeah, Disney at 335 billion and Netflix at 200 something billion. So that would be pretty wild if Netflix is 231 billion. That would be pretty wild if Netflix got bigger than Disney. That would be crazy. But who knows? They're going to be there. They went from, Netflix went from being the what I heard called the 200-pound chimp, to now Disney and Netflix are both 800-pound gorillas. So they're basically pretty much almost neck and neck. So Netflix has graduated from being the 200-pound chimp. But we'll see. I mean, that would be pretty exciting if Netflix all of a sudden has the same market cap as Disney. Only time will tell. But I think that Disney's got a lot of catching up to do to be able to rival Netflix in terms of what they have on the streaming platform. So we will see. Let me know your thoughts. Hey, if you want to see any more videos, about investing, if you want to see more videos about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrency, about what kind of some of the big traditional, investors out there are doing. Let me know. I've got a big background in investing. I've been investing since 1989, since I was a kid. Based on my first job out of college was Merrill Lynch. Then I did some investment banking. Then I actually worked at Sun America when I first moved to Los Angeles. So I've got a lot of professional background in investing, and also a very good investor on my own. Actually, I'll point to one of my videos as well. If you take a look at from summer of 2017 to the end of the summer of 2020, I've done 3 times what the S&P 500 did on my own investments and my own stock picking. So check that out. Also, I'm going to put a link below. I came out with a blueprint. It's only $7, everybody. I cover investing. I cover generating income online. I've also generated, got about 20 million of career earnings in terms of generating, not earnings, but revenue, generating revenue online. I've been generating revenue online for a long time, since the mid 2000s, and I cover, generating income online in that blueprint, as well as credit, business credit, and some financial independence. At the very end, I got a guide, 15-page guide, all the groups that will give you a free credit score, plus all the groups that will give you a free FICO score. Yes, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. That way you don't ever have to pay for a FICO again, as long as I keep updating that blueprint, which I do regularly update that blueprint. So if you have any questions, let me know. Have a great week. And take care.